Oh, you're good.
And I can't tell you where those chairs came from necessarily. Hey, those just spread out. Just don't put your knees in there, okay? In the spring of 1775, we find 13 tables. It is the first time all 13 have been together. They arrived hopeful to find out there's no communication from the Parliament or the Crown. Instead, they're informed fighting has broken out up in Massachusetts. And what does the Congress do? They write another petition. That one's called the Olive Branch Petition. And agree to wait some more. After 2 months, John Adams will finally nominate George Washington to go to try to start an army from the well-regulated colonial militias. We won't see George Washington back in this room for 12 years. And when we do, he is sitting in that very chair. It's a whole year later before Richard Henry Lee makes the motion that we ought to be free and independent states, seconded by John Adams. And what does the Congress do? They do what they always do. They tabled it and started a committee. We love our committees. And this one's going to be John Adams, chairman, currently serving on 52 other committees. Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Mr. Livingston, and Mr. Sherman. And their job is to write a document which will explain to the rest of the world why this is not treason, but comes under the rule of law. Rule of law, not law and order. They are two different things. And they start with the premise that government is a social contract. It is a contract between the people doing the governing and the people being governed. And under contract law, what happens when someone breaks the contract?
I don't know.
Do you have chores to do at home, sweetie? Do you have jobs to complete? Pick up the trash, pick up your toys, make your bed. Yeah. What happens if you don't do it? You get an allowance, or parents buy you stuff? Are they gonna give them to you? No, they aren't, are they? We start teaching our children very young this basic premise of law. And so what does this committee do? They start listing all the ways in which the Crown and the Parliament have broken the contract with the colonies. And ladies and gentlemen, taxes is only on there one time. But if I look in any American textbook, if I ask pretty much anybody that's been educated in the States, they're going to tell me primary things about taxes, aren't you? Yeah. So why do we do that? We do that because taxes was the unifier. Not every family had quarter soldiers. Not every family lost property. Not every family had a loved one hauled off before the secret Admiralty Court, or worse yet, taken to Nova Scotia or to London to stand trial. Not every family had a loved one injured or killed. But every single person Didn't matter what language you spoke. Didn't matter what your religion was. Didn't matter what your race was. In fact, it didn't even matter if you were free or unfree. Taxes affected you. And friendly ladies and gentlemen, it is the only one you could get a good slogan out of. And for those of you that are Americans, what is that slogan? No. Come on. I'm not hearing you.
Taxation without representation.
Okay. That wasn't very loud, but I'll give it to you.
I'm in the back.
You see, we're still using that same slogan 247 years later. They give the list to Thomas Jefferson, and he makes a document out of it. Document goes to Ben Franklin. He edits it. He takes out anything he sees as divisive. And the most divisive subject at that time, and had been for several decades, already was the issue of slavery. And so most of that will be deleted. They bring it to the Congress, and what does the Congress do? And put it over there. We don't even know if we're gonna vote yet, or when. It'll be July 2nd, when they will finally vote to declare independency. John Adams got up early on the morning of July 3rd to write to his wife and children. And July 2nd will be your annual festival. How many of you celebrated July 2nd? We don't. So what happened? What happened was, they still didn't agree on the document. They'll make 40 more changes. Can you imagine how Jefferson felt? Does anybody like their work changed? No. In fact, he wrote to a friend, they destroyed my manuscript. And so it's not until July 4th, somewhere around noon, that the document is approved and sent to the printers. They order about 200 copies because they want it to go viral. Redmond Town Square is reprinted in the newspapers. And because the people hear July 4th, they see July 4th. Then if they can actually read, they read July 4th. What date do they want to celebrate? July 4th. What are we really celebrating on July 4th? This document does not give us independence. That's going to take 7 more years of war. So what does it actually do? It starts to make us one people. A people that has nothing in common with each other. We don't all speak the same language. We're not all the same religion or ethnicity. But there is one thing that we have in common. We all believe in the ideals as expressed in the document. That all men are created equal. That you have the right to decide who is going to govern you through the vote and the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. E pluribus unum, out of many. It starts to make us think of ourselves as possibly becoming one nation.